This is a quarterly roll-up of the Event Live ticket summaries for Q2, so April, May, and June. And a little getting started in Excel to do something like this. So I'm in June, since that's the end of Q2. I'm going to pop open this ticket summary. Yeah, so we essentially want to merge these matrices into one file. So I'm going to actually open up all three of these. There's one. Let's go back to May. There's May, June and May, and then let's go back to April. There's April. And so we've got boom, boom, and boom. So what I might do is just make a one in June. Maybe we'll do something like this. I'm going to take the June one, and here's some Excel stuff. If I want to make a copy of this matrix file, but I don't want all this other stuff that goes with it. So I'm going to right-click on matrix, and I'm going to say move or copy. And one of the options is I want to move it to a new book. And I want to click create a copy. So this is just going to take this whole sheet, move it out to a new book so I get it separated from all the other stuff. And maybe I'll rename this guy. So now I've got a new workbook that's not saved, so I'll have to save this. Command S. I'm going to put it in the June Event Live closing revenue folder. June revenue. I'm going to call this just Q2 or 20, just Q2, I guess. Q2 2013. How about that? And I'm going to rename this first one to be called, did I do June? This is June, right? Yeah, June.
Yeah.
June matrix. So I can close this June matrix now. And then I'll do the other one, which would be May. Where did it go? Where's May? Oh, got hidden. Okay, same thing. Right click on this one single tab, say move or copy. But this time, since I have that book already open, I don't want to move it to a new book. I want to move it to Event Live Ticket Summary Q2 2013, but I always want to make a copy. If I didn't check this box, it would actually take it off this sheet and move it to that sheet. But no. We just want to make a copy. I'm going to move it to the end. And now I can just rename this guy and call this one May. May Matrix. I can close the old May ticket summary. And last but not least is April. I'm going to right click on this matrix, again say move or copy, go pick my quarterly roll up one and move it to the end and create a copy. Okay. And now I've got three of them in one book. So this is April, May, and June. And I'm going to just organize them so they're in order. But now what? Now it gets tricky.
Now you would create a new tab and then pull from each report data.
Yes, you're getting
just like on doing reporting, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like a report data. But I'm going to use the lookup.
You only want it.
So in our latest, and those old books have not been updated, but this July one, I put a cool new tab in here that we can always steal from. So I'm going to open up the July one, even though we're not going to use any of the July matrix data, but there's this thing called, which one is it? No, I think it's CMS dates. Because in theory, I've accounted for every show here, I think. So I could do a lookup based off ID, is kind of what I'm getting at. So I want a master directory of every show, even if those shows don't show up on April, May, or June. In theory, like let's just take 104. 1,142,000, whatever that is. Is that here? 1,000,000. Okay, it's not. So that's not a good one. Maybe it's CMS event, because I believe this has every single thing in here. And it does. So I'm going to use the CMS event one. I'm going to move or copy this guy to our Q3 thing. I want to move it to the end and create a copy. So Q2 matrix, I'm going to delete. We're going to work with this sheet now. So I can close July because I think I've got a list of every single show. And I'm going to rename it, call it Q2 2013 summary. But we don't need all these columns. That's kind of the tricky part where I'm going to hide a whole lot of this. I really just want ID and name, to be quite honest with you. I don't need all this stuff. And I can make a new column here called views. Make another column here called revenue. And now we do our tricky thing. And I'm going to do it with, I want to do the whole thing, but I'm going to do a little bit. I'll show you how to do one, and then you can, ooh, you know what might be cool? We could do April views, May views, and June views, total views, and then April revenue, May rev, ooh, June rev, total rev, and maybe give ourselves a little space here. And so I think I'll do one, and then it'll be kind of fun for you to challenge yourself and do a couple more. So April views. Here's another trick too, Chief. This is a great one. I like to. I got too much stuff open. So to make this a little easier, I'm gonna minimize all my stuff because I would like to have a couple different views here. And I think I've showed you this before, but I want to see April, May, and June. I want to have more views open in this one book. And to do that, under Window, you can say New Window. I think I've showed you this one before, but now I can show April here, and I can be working on kind of two views into the same book. So we're going to use a VLOOKUP. VLOOKUPs and HLOOKUPs. And you can always go to Help and search for VLOOKUP. It's a function, and it will tell you and give you examples of how this works. And I highly recommend that you read this page here because it's a really powerful thing. I use this all the time, and it gets a big wow factor, and it does a lot of cool stuff. So what I want to do is I want to look up anything on this sheet that matches these numbers, and then I want to count out what column I want to go get. So if I'm doing views and I start in column A, that's one column, two columns, three columns, four columns, five columns. So 5 columns to get to views. So let's start with this. I'm going to do a VLOOKUP. Vertical lookup is what it stands for. I want to look up this value, and I want to go get a table. So now I can come over here and grab, I'm just going to grab all these rows from 3 to 25. Another comma for the number of columns. So I think I just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put a 5 there. And then I'm going to write the word false. And you can read about why I wrote the word false. Now look at that. It pulled in 92. So it worked. It did a cross-reference of that number against any numbers that were between rows 3 and 25 on the first column. So VLOOKUPs always start with the first column. If it finds a match, then it
I'm
counts
sorry.
out. Go ahead.
Oh, you broke up. VLOOKUPs always start what?
VLOOKUPs always start with the first column. So in my formula here, I say first thing is what do I want to look up? And Excel kind of helps you write these things. It kind of bolds what I should be working on. So I look up this column A. I'm looking up 1,000,000, that number. And then the second thing is, where do I go look it up? That's called an array. And the array is April matrix rows 3 through 25. So April matrix is this first tab, row 3 through 25. And then the final thing is a column index number 5, meaning once I get a match on that first column A here, then go count out 5 columns to the right, vertical 5 columns. So that's why I call it a VLOOKUP. And then I always put the word false at the end, and you can read about why I put false. It's kind of um oh, I just realized this thing's all busted up. Oh wait, it's busted up because I took it out of the normal thing. Never mind. Um so now I can drag down this, but look, I get all those NAs. It worked on one column or one row, but then once I got to like the third row, it's all busted. And why is it doing that? That's because if you look at my formula, I need to hard code 3 and 25, meaning even if I drag this formula down, when I get down here, it's no longer looking up April matrix 3 to 25. It's slid down over here too. Does that kind of make sense?
Okay. Yeah,
Kind
I
of.
think
So
so.
I'm just going to show you how we fix that. I highlight in front of the 3, I put a dollar sign. In front of the 25, I put a dollar sign. And that means as I slide this formula down, it will always be looking in that 3 to 25 thing. So if I
Right.
go from 92 all the way to the bottom of this thing and stop it, and then do a sum of all this, we should tie. Famous last words, but we should. And I'll show you how I get rid of those NAs, because the NAs they look like it's an error, but it's not really an error. So I get a sum of NAs, and that's not very helpful either. So there's another new formula that I'm going to introduce you to called IFERROR. So I'm not going to touch this formula because I like it, but in front of it, I'm going to say if error, and you can look this one up too, do it, and if there is a error, I'm going to say comma 0. And now I'm going to drag this formula down, and it's going to take care of all those NAs for me. And the NAs are saying, the NAs are Excel's way. Look at this, first of all. That
Mhm.
7,872 actually does tie to that. So now we got ourselves something that works here. I'll save this. The NA is actually correct because Excel is telling us I can't find a 1,000 or 1,000,005 over here, Joel. So it gives me an error. But really, I don't really care. I want it to disregard that error, and I want it to go pick up stuff like Cold Eskimo 104. Boom. So we're gonna repeat that for May and June, and then sum those up. I'll even write the sum formula here and drag sum all the way down.
Okay.
You want to give it a shot? It's kind of fun. I love Excel. Excel is like a programming language.
Yeah, I need to, well, it went awful fast, so I'd probably want to look at the video, but I don't know. Maybe try telling me what to do on the May one.
Sure, sure. Let's do May. And now this is actually going to be. I would cheat with May personally, and not rewrite the whole formula because I know if I drag this over to the right. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Got to write the whole formula. So same
Okay.
idea. I want a VLOOKUP. Let's go
Can
look
I
at.
can I take over?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Shall I close this and let you open it on your computer? Let's do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna just give it a final save and close. Let Dropbox do its thing, and I'll make you the presenter.
Okay.
And in a second or two, I would try to open that file because I bet it's already synchronized to you.
Close some of this stuff. Okay, so it's in June.
Yep,
Revenue.
yep.
Uh,
It's
went
the,
live.
it's the second one.
Ticket summary Q2. Okay.
Yeah. Always ignore links whenever you see that. It looks like you already know that. Good.
Okay. Okay. So I would have to go back to the video to even remember where to start because it went off fast. So what's the first thing I do now?
I'll walk you through the whole thing, so no problem.
Okay.
So we want to say equals VLOOKUP. And when I start to see it, I click on it just like you did. Perfect. Now, what do we want to look up? We want to look up A2, which is the $1 million, or I'm not $1 million, but the 1 million. So I would now go use your mouse and click on cell A2. And notice that's a table, so it's a little tricky. I'm not going to even bother you with that, but normally it would have put A2 there, but what I imported was a table. But anyway, comma will bring you to the next argument in the formula.
Okay.
In the table array, if you want to click on the May matrix thing, so don't press any buttons, but go click on there and highlight rows 3 through, I don't know, 26. The row header, the number 3 to the left before you click, not there. Yes. Perfect. Good.
Okay.
Comma. Comma will bring us to the next argument.
I just
Just type comma, don't click anywhere.
okay.
And then how many columns is from A to views in this one?
5.
5.
Okay.
Number
1, 2, 3,
5.
4, 5.
Then comma false. And another day, another time, I'll explain to you true and false. But just you always want to put false on these.
Okay.
Now hit enter or return, and it brings you back to where you were normally starting. Now let's go check that 22 before we do anything. In May, did the amazing have 22 views?
Did.
Nice. So we're working. But drag 22 down, because this is an even more important thing to learn. That's far enough. Just for now, I want you to, and then click into one of those NAs and let's evaluate that formula. Is the formula that's in the formula bar the same formula that you wrote for the first one?
Um,
In fact, scroll up and let's look at the one that is working, the 22. And look at that formula around the second argument with the May matrix 3 through 26. Go down a couple rows. Is it still May matrix 3 to 26?
it's 5 through 28.
Right.
I see.
So the nature of Excel, when you drag a formula down, it assumes you want to do the same thing on the other sheet, but we don't. We want to lock that array in so it's always looking at rows 3 through 26. And to do that, we use dollar signs in front of the numbers.
Right in front of the 3 and in front of the 26.
That's right.
Okay.
And this in Excel, they call this locking in the slider.
Okay. Now enter.
Enter.
Okay. Now I can drag it.
Now drag that guy all the way down.
Jeez. Hmm.
Copy that sum formula over from AF over to you just you slid it just about 4 rows past the bottom. So let's go back down there and clean that up a little. So erase like 522 to 520. Yeah, erase those. And then copy the one from the left over to the right, meaning the 7872, the sum that I built on row 525.
Okay.
Yeah, drag that guy to the right. Now notice you had the same problem I have. If you scroll up, the formula is actually working. You are looking up the right numbers, but the VLOOKUP is a little finicky. If it can't find what it's looking for, it gives you that NA. And we have a trick for that. So scroll all the way back up to the top. Let's go edit your formula one more time. On May views, that one, the 22, right before the VLOOKUP, after the we're gonna do two functions in one formula. I want you to type if error, open parentheses, and then go all the way to the end. So it's basically saying if it calculates this and gets an error, comma, just return a 0, comma 0, close parentheses.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
ifs are always true, false, right? If it's false, do the second thing. If it's true, go ahead and return the first thing. And you want to do one more close parentheses and you're done. Perfect. Hit enter. Now copy
now
that
back.
down. Yeah. You want to know another trick while we're doing tricks now since we're recording
Sure.
this? Highlight the 22 just one time
Okay.
and hit hold down shift and first of all copy it, control C.
Okay.
And hold down the command key, hold down the shift key and hit the down arrow.
Oh, okay. You taught me that one before.
Yeah. And this will just zip you down to the bottom. Now hit Command V to paste. See how it perfectly stops at the last one?
Yeah.
Boom. You just did May.
And for